I'm just going to give you exactly step by step how I got straight 9s on the screen. My target grades were not bad at all, and that's mainly because of the fact that I did decently in my first year, in year 7. So they were expecting me to get 7s all across the board. It wasn't looking like that, actually. And I only had a month to turn that around. And you can see there, in the month I managed to turn it around. So my exam grades for my mock exams, this isn't my actual exams, my mock exams, they were practically all 8s and 9s, except for the 1 6. And that is basically getting straight A stars. And obviously, not to sort of spoil it, but later on in the actual exams I do end up with straight 9s. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a sort of understanding of why you might want to listen to this video, and the fact that I went from, again, getting 4s and 5s in the past papers to ending up, for example, in the mock exams with 8s and 9s. But yeah, step 0. First of all, you have to make the time. So I mean, this is pretty simple. I had a month to go to my mock exams. I'm going to use my mock exams as the explanation or the example for this video, mainly, because that's where I actually crammed everything. That's where I switched everything around from failing to sort of being like a star student in like literally less than a month, or just over a month's time. And that's where the most value is. If you want to look at how I got actual straight 9s, is really nothing. I mean, it's nothing impressive. It's just I did this 1 month. I did 1 month of intensive learning throughout year 11, and then I basically just coasted the rest of the way and managed to get straight 9s, because you don't have to do much more work to maintain that level. So if you are in, for example, year 10 and you're about to go into year 11, you could try this out. This will probably work pretty well for you. Again, if you're taking your exams now, in like a month or 2, I would say this is the best way to make sure you maximize your grade if you're at a really low level. And even if you're, for example, expecting like 7s, 6s and 7s in your exams right now, I think, again, this is like a really good way to just boost you straight up to the 8s and 9s level, and really just make sure that you master all of the subjects. And it's not actually mastery, it's just getting good grades. You have to make time. So if you're, for example, a month away, you have to be able to study 6 to 8 hours a day. And if you think you can't do that, you do have enough time. And that's probably just a fact. Like, all you have to do is go to your settings app, look at your screen time, figure out that you're spending maybe 4 to 8 hours a day on your phone doing jack shit, and what you could do is just substitute that out for study time, and you'll immediately be studying a lot more, and you'll be boosting your grades up. And this is only for like a 1 or 2 months. You really don't have to sacrifice much. This is 1 or 2 months out of your whole life. It's your choice you have to make. It's a decision you will have to make, that you're going to actually put everything you can into this. And if you think it's worth it, go for it. If you don't really care about your grades, leave it, I guess. I'm not here to convince you if you want to get good grades. All I'm here to do is to tell you that it's very possible, and you don't have to be smart. And like I said, I was getting 4s and 5s in all my papers before I tried this, and I only took like a month to turn it all around. Ordeal, right? There's this pyramid. This is called Bloom's taxonomy. So at the top is create, right? Second is evaluate. After that is analyze. Apply. And then after that is analyze, and then I really don't know what's down here. I probably should have brought up a picture, but here is like writing notes and highlighting the fucking textbook or something like that. What you want to do is just go straight to this option, and this, hopefully this makes sense for you guys, like, and you sort of understand what's going on here. The reason, sorry, I didn't really explain it very well. The higher up you go on this pyramid, right, the higher up you are when you're studying, when you're spending your time studying, when you're spending your 2-3 hours studying, the further up here on this pyramid you're spending your time, the more efficient your studying is. So if you're spending all of your time, for example, evaluating the information, then you're really going to just like understand it on a much deeper level. And this, you can sort of see this in real life and how it like sort of just maps out to the actual education system. Anyone doing a PhD has to create, for example, their own material. So when you study a PhD, you don't just learn from whatever's out there in the science world. You don't just memorize textbooks and stuff like that. You have to actually go and create and discover something new. And that's because to create something in a field, for example, imagine discovering something new in chemistry, you have to really have a really deep understanding and grasp of all of the other parts of chemistry. So that's sort of where you get to. That's why it's the most difficult part to get to, and anyone who is creating in a sense is going to be learning the most and knowing the most. We can't really do that. What I'd recommend anyone who is studying is to evaluate, so you're sort of maybe being skeptical of the chemistry you're learning, and you're putting together the pieces in that sense. But if you've got 1 to 2 months left, I think that's too difficult to get to. I did this in my A-levels, and that's how I was able to study really, like, barely at all and still get a good grade. But if you have no time, you just want to skip straight to apply. I'm not actually sure if this is on the pyramid or if I'm making shit up, but I think just go with it. The fact is, you just want to go straight to application, and this is at the end of the video. So I've already gone through all of this, but what I've drawn out is roadmaps on how to apply. So whenever you need to apply something, for example in English, applying is basically taking the exam. For example, writing an essay. But to write an essay, you need some good content. You need to understand the English content to write it with. So you need like a good content source for each of these. So you need a place where you're really getting your information and using that to apply it. So each of these I've given a really good content source that I used at least, and then I just show you exactly how to apply it. So with English, it's finding a good content source, then just writing loads of essays on it and getting feedback on it. With maths, again, finding a good content source, practicing loads of questions. With chemistry, finding a good content source, practicing loads of questions. Same thing with history and RS. The reason there's one difference with the sciences is the content source. I basically just skip it. I tell you the content source is the mark scheme of the questions. So don't go learn or watch any videos or memorize a textbook. All you have to do is go straight to the practice questions and just start doing them, and do them enough times that you start memorizing the mark scheme. And that is the content source. So the content source is the mark scheme. But the basic structure here to basically go from a shit grade to a good one is you need a really good content source. So this is going to basically tell you all the information you need for the exam. You need to apply that content in a way that sort of practices your exam technique, and you have to get really good at that. And basically, you just keep repeating that. You use the good content to apply more. Usually in here, you want to get some feedback from your teacher as well. But yeah, that's about it. Like it's really that simple. So I'm literally going to go step by step every single subject that I do. So let me just zoom out. I'm not doing one in German because I didn't do very well on that. I don't really know how to do languages, but for all of these I ended up with 9s in all of these subjects. I didn't do geography, but the reason I left that there was because I'm pretty sure it's quite similar to history and RS, but these are all pretty easy, like step-by-step instructions that you can follow, and I'll just go through them one by one. So English, straight away, like I feel like a lot of people just don't understand this for some reason, and English is probably one of the easiest ones to get a 9 in, again without being that good at English itself. This is the only YouTube channel you should watch, Mr. Salles. There's so many different resources for English. I think people like looking at flashcards. They like, I don't know, loads of different YouTube channels that they've seen. Ask their teachers for help, stuff like that. In my opinion, like, you don't have to listen in any of your lessons. You don't have to even go to school. All you need is this YouTube channel. You have to watch a lot of the videos, so especially ones like this where he's going through different grade 9 stories or like answers basically. And also I'll probably just pull him up here, but the main thing here, right, is all you have to do is watch his videos, write tons and tons of example essays. So write tons of essays using his points. So you'll see his points are pretty similar to, like, for example, something that you learn in school. Your teachers will go through it the same way. What they'll be doing is like sort of giving you different themes, different things you can write about in an essay. And the only difference is with this one is you should really just be watching this video, writing an essay on it, watching another video, writing an essay on it. Literally just spam essays, right? And this is the only way you get good at English. Same for English language, same for English literature. Spam as many different essay topics as you can, depending on whatever book you're doing. I didn't do Macbeth, but you really want to watch and just consume as much content from this channel as you can on the 2 books that you're doing. So let me just pull up, for example, the one I did. Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, there you go. 79 videos in here, right? And a lot of these are going to be super useful. The best ones, in my opinion, are the ones where he goes through different grade 9 essays. So with English, there's only a certain number of essay topics that you can have. You've got like a certain number of characters that they can ask you about. You've got a certain number of themes they could ask you about. If you, for example, written an essay on pretty much nearly all the themes and all the characters before, when you come up against an essay in the actual exam that you've sort of written for something before, then you'll be you'll have a good essay there. Obviously, when you write the essays, every time you write an essay, just send it to your English teacher, and they'll mark it for you and give you some feedback and tell you how to improve it. And not only does that give your English teacher a good impression of you, but it will definitely help you, and you really have to take that feedback into account. But I'll be really honest, like with English, it's just that. It's write essays, get feedback, write more essays. Right. He's got loads of different essay topics in here that you could be trying, but his points are often ones that you won't find from your English teacher. You just want to use them, right? It's literally just regurgitating his information. It really isn't that difficult. It's writing as much as you can, and then you get to a point actually where you've written so many, you're sort of starting to memorize your own essays. For example, before I went into my actual exam, I sort of nearly memorized an essay of Jekyll, I think, and I can't remember what it was about, there was some sort of essay about how Jekyll and how Hyde was the person that Stevenson was saying was a good guy, and Jekyll was the bad guy, right? And it's like this completely out of the blue argument where you don't hear that often. But I just had like a mind map of like points that I'd put in the essay, and I had all of that memorized. I had that for quite a few different essays, and when I went into the exam, it was actually quite a similar question, and I just regurgitated that essay out. And that's the same thing for both subjects. You just want to spam watch these videos, spam making essays, spam them to your teacher, and then make more essays. Just keep doing that until you really feel comfortable whenever any sort of essay comes up. There's nothing really else to English. If we go to maths, again, you only need one YouTube channel. You don't even need to go to lessons. I didn't learn anything from my maths lessons in GCSE. That's the one channel that I used. So the GCSE maths tutor. That's the one channel I used, and literally there's only like 2 videos that I needed to use, or maybe like 4 or 5 videos from this channel. But this dude right here, what he has is he's got like these 6-hour long videos where it goes through literally everything. So let me see if I can find it. But how I went from grade 4 or 5 in these exams to, I think I got a 9 in the mock exam, and I did that in only 1 month. All I did was find this one video. I'm trying to find it. I'm pretty sure it was this one. So he's got 2 sets of these videos, right? He's got one set which is a 2-hour or 3-hour long video on how to get your grade, how to get a grade 6 in maths. That's all the fundamentals. I basically just did every question on it. Right, yeah, let me just explain that even further. What you have to do is first of all probably watch it through once. And then watch it through the second time. So watch it through once, take some notes. Watch the second time. Every time he's showing you the question, try it before he shows you the question. Obviously if you get stuck, then you just actually do the question with him. And then you just do it again, right? Just redo it. And I probably did this 3 or 4 times for this video. I think this one was probably easy, so I didn't have to do it that many times. But the fact is, it's simple, right? To get a grade 9 in this video, all you have to do is make sure that you can answer every question in those 2 videos without help, right? And you sort of understand every concept in that video as well. So this is a grade 6. If you can go back, you can find he's got one for grade 9 as well. I'll try and find, and then obviously once you've done that, there's some extra stuff, because I think I was stuck at a grade 8, sorry, after I did all those 2, and then I just watched some extra stuff on his channel. Really helped me out. But this is all like, I think it's self-explanatory. All you really have to do is use this dude's channel, and basically just start off with those 2 massive chunky videos that he's got. I'm really struggling to find them here though. But he's got 2 chunky videos, one called Everything You Need to Get a Grade 6, and the other called Everything You Need to Get a Grade 7 to 9. There we go. Yeah, so this is the second video that you want to go through. Again, it's 2 hours 54 minutes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just these 2 videos. I made sure I could answer every question in these 2. So I'll probably copy paste that into the Miro board here. You want to make sure you can answer every question in those two. Once you've done that, try an exam. I mean, obviously try all the past papers, but you'll probably come out with a grade 8 on all of these past papers that you're trying then. And if you want to push it up to a grade 9, just watch a few of his extra videos. He's got some further ones like grade 9 for each topic, but that's pretty simple. And I think it should go to say that, like, these are just techniques that you're using to sort of propel you from a grade 4 to a grade 8 or 9. Once you're at that point, you have to try every past paper available, right? And this is for English and for maths as well. It's just self-explanatory, hopefully. That's just part of it. Like, you want to make sure a past paper is usually a way of determining where you're at. So it'll determine what grade you'll get in the actual thing. If you do the past paper from last year and you get a grade 8, the chances are you will get a grade 8 in the actual exam. That's just how they're made. They're made so that you will actually get a really consistent grade over all of the exams. It might be one grade up or down, but that's basically it. So you want to be getting to a point where in your past papers you're getting grade 8s and 9s, and then you practically don't have to worry about the actual exam. You can just go in there, sit there, and you know you can be confident that you're going to put something out that is a grade 8 or 9. Okay, sciences. Computer science as well I've stuck in there because it's very similar, and that's the one I did. But for these ones, actually, there's lots of different channels that people be watching. I mean, I think they're pretty good, especially if you don't understand some topics, but I think I wasted a lot of time on watching these videos, because again, just watching videos doesn't really help you do anything. You sort of want to just go straight into application. So with these ones, really straightforward instructions I've got for you. You need this app called Anki. I'm not sure if you know of it by now. It's pretty popular. Just look it up, download it. It's a flashcard app basically, so I'll show you, hopefully. What you're going to do is you're going to get every single flashcard that has ever existed for your subject. Let me go to my GCSE one. Alright, I'm not sure I think this is not the right one I've got. Yeah, it'll probably be one of these ones. I've got so many of these, but it'll be something like this, right? And you have to get a folder. Okay, so there are lots of these floating around online. You're not actually supposed to have these folders, but for example, if you're an AQA, if you've got AQA, if you're on the AQA exam board, there are these folders that you can find on like Reddit and stuff like that have got every single past paper question to have ever existed on your exam board. That includes questions from like the 1990s, so GCSEs back then, and these are questions that your teacher are usually using to make your mini tests throughout the year. That's why they're usually not available. You can try and ask your teacher for them, or you can try and find it online. What you have to do, basically, I'll show you. If you can't find this, there's obviously, I think there's other ways to do it. For example, someone might have already made an Anki deck for it. There are so many of these, right? Like, if you look through it, there will be like around 3,000 questions for a topic, right? So this is just a normal practice question. What you have to do is screenshot it and make it into a flashcard, and then answer it, right? Every single question, you just want to make it into a flashcard and just keep spamming through it, right? So hopefully I'll show you some of these. Let's see if that's yeah, you can see I did some flashcards for English as well, just to like sort of push it on. But really, I think it would be useful to find one of my biology. No, these type of flashcards aren't right. This one I think is it. It doesn't actually look. It's been so long since I've used this, so it's probably why it's taking forever. See if this one works. Okay. Alright. I don't know what I'd say. At least I remember, that's how I remember it. That was the best way to do it is, again, you just, so for example, chemistry, there are about, I don't know, 24 topics here. You want to find exam questions, or every single exam question you can possibly find in those topics, and just make them into flashcards. You really don't even have to go in and learn anything from the textbook. I'll show you. Actually, I did it for my A levels. At the start, that was probably where I found the most success. So here you go. You can see my A levels. This is how I'm doing it for topic 1 for biology, and you can see it really gets a bit overwhelming. This is why I don't recommend it anymore. But what I did was I'd get that folder of all the questions, all the past paper questions, and I would just memorize them. And I wouldn't look at the textbook, I wouldn't listen in lessons, I wouldn't learn anything off of that. I'd learn it all from just practicing past papers. And the reason you do that is because what happens is you sort of start to learn off of the mark scheme. So you really only learn around, I'd say like 20% of the actual information, or the most crucial information, and it gets you 80% of the roles, of the 80% of the marks, sorry. So you're really just skipping the step of revising from the textbook. You're not learning from the teachers or anything, you're just going straight to practice questions, and you're just doing them over and over and over again, until you're just so familiar with this concept and like how the examiners are thinking, that you just come out with a 9. I did that for chemistry, biology, physics and computer science. That's literally all I did. For my computer science exam, there's only about, for OCR, there was only about 6 papers, or even less, I think probably like 4 or 5 papers before me, because it's a really new exam. And all I did was just put all of them into Anki, make them all into flashcards, and just memorize every single one of them. And you do have to think about the flashcard a bit more than just memorizing it. But what you'll find is if you keep spamming through these flashcards, you'll start to understand what's going on. At first it's really uncomfortable. It's really like you really just won't know what's going on. It feels like you're just wasting your time, and this is why it is a bit risky to go straight into this, but I find it works really well. What happens is you feel like you're wasting your time for a bit. After like maybe a week of just spamming through hundreds and hundreds of flashcards a day, you sort of start to get the gist of what's going on, because you connect all the different dots from the different topics and all the different mark schemes, and you sort of understand what the hell is going on with these and how to exactly answer these questions. And what happens is with these new with a new exam, for example, that you're going to get, the questions you get in there are going to be very, very similar to all the previous questions. There's only, again, a certain number of things that they can test you on. Most of these subjects, especially for the sciences, they have already tested every subject, every question type that they could. All you'll find with these subjects like physics and chemistry and biology is they'll ask you in a completely new context, but they'll ask the exact same question. Instead of asking about, for example, like a leopard in biology, and asking you a 5 marker on how they got speciation happened for leopards. It will just ask you about like a fucking flamingo or something, and again it'll be the same 5 marks over and over and over again. This is the best way I found for these. And again, like I said, with the OCR, there's only 5 papers. After I did that, did the mock exam, literally got the highest grade in the entire year group, and obviously a 9, which was a 9 as well. But that was a paper I'd never seen before. It was a locked paper, so they used like I think it was 2020 paper, so they used like a 2019 paper in the mock exam, and I got the highest grade in the whole year. I did no revision apart from just memorizing every past paper before it, and it's not like they reuse the questions, but it's just you get so familiar with the way the examiners want you to answer them that you just get great grades on them. So yeah, hopefully that's been useful for these ones. Last section, history and RS, so these humanities. I'm not sure what geography is like. I know, I'm assuming it's going to be similar. The reason I've grouped these two together is because they're essay type questions, essay type exams. So it is a bit similar to Mr. Saller's, but with this one, I didn't watch any YouTubers really. There was no real good RS or history YouTubers. I think there was one dude. There might have been one dude who was not bad. Yeah, Ben Wardle. So this dude, I'm not sure if it's a woman or a dude, but they were pretty good. So I watched through all of these videos, made some notes, made them into flashcards. But the real thing here, again, is practicing the essays. So obviously with these essay questions, like I said with the English, you need the information to write an essay with, and you want to do these open book at first. So again, don't go and try and make notes and revise from the textbook on these subjects, on these essay questions. What you want to do is just start writing essays, because that's what you're going to be tested on. So just start doing it, open book. Find yourself banks of RS and history questions. You can start off with the past papers. Get yourself a good revision guide. So for me, for history, I just used a revision guide for history, and for RS I used this as my content, because I didn't like the textbooks were pretty trash in my opinion. They were too complicated, they had too many words and stuff like that. I couldn't really write a good essay from it. I just used these videos, and you can like ask your teacher's PowerPoints. Usually they're pretty shit as well. So you want to find, for all of these, you want to find a good content source, and then just start applying from there. So I think it's probably this one. It looks like they've updated it was these ones. So these are the ones that I used. These revision guides had pretty good content and easy to read content. So all I did was just, if I'd look for a question on history or any question that my teachers had given me, some past paper questions, and then I'd just use the book, write an answer for it, and that was practically it, right? And I'd do that again, spam essays on every question type. So history, again, there's only like 6 question types that you get in the exam. Same thing with RS, spam essays for all of them. And as a backup, just because you're not going to cover every essay, I did the same thing. I went through, for example, whatever content bank that I was using, for example the videos for RS or the revision guide for history. I went through and sort of picked up any of the missing parts that I felt like I kept forgetting, and just made them into flashcards in Anki, and you just spam through the flashcards as well. But really, that's it. It's not that complicated. It is very step by step though. Hopefully I've made it really simple for you guys. I'm probably going to record a section and put it at the start of the video, but with this whole